Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's good to be with you on a Monday. It is Monday, October 12th here in 2020. The holidays right around the corner. Once we get to Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas jump on us quickly. A lot we're going to cover on today's show, including trampoline parks, go-karts, and laser tag. We're seeing what's happening with department stores, or the skeletons that were department stores in enclosed malls and movie theaters, and what's happening in bigger cities in Charlottesville as laser tag, trampoline parks, and go-karts are moving into abandoned movie theaters and department stores. We'll wonder if that's the future of what we have before us from a Charlottesville standpoint. We will talk Albemarle County students and teachers and parents. We're at a crossroads. The majority of parents want their kids back in school. The large majority of teachers say, no way, we don't feel safe teaching students in school. And now we're at this crossroads where teachers are saying, we don't feel safe. Parents are saying, let's get them back in there. We'll talk about that dichotomy on the I Love CVille show and how Albemarle County's school system could most likely influence the city of Charlottesville and its school system. We'll talk about the great equalizer in education, and that great equalizer is reliable and ubiquitous internet for all. Internet in today's time, almost a public utility. That's going to come up on the I Love CVille show. Dillard's, the department store, its stock has popped over 40% positively today. We'll explain why Dillard's is popping more than 40% and why that pop has something to do with the person in Charlottesville, Virginia. River Hawkins, our guest. River Hawkins, co-owner of the Bebedero. River Hawkins, one of the co-owners of the Milkman Bar, which will open soon in Dairy Market, Chris Henry's development on Preston Avenue. So River's going to chat with us about his current restaurant and the challenges he's facing running the Bebedero. We'll talk about all the promise and positivity and potential that the Milkman Bar has in Dairy Market, and River's going to enlighten us on what it's like to be a restaurant owner, a one-unit co-owner in this Charlottesville COVID City Hall climate. That's going to be a very interesting interview. Keith Smith is going to join us after River, and he'll give us some insight into what to expect from a real estate market this past weekend, the week that was, and what's coming up before us. I'm looking at the market. In fact, I'm going to turn the volume up on the TV there. Stocks green across the board. Very, very strong start to the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. All very nicely green right now. Give the show a like and a share. We'll give some love to Interstate Pest and Service Companies, truly a home's best friend. Interstate really doing things the honest, the high character, the integrity way. Interstate Pest and Service Companies, 4 generations of family behind this company. At the bottom of the show, we'll talk UVA. We'll talk the brewing quarterback battle. Do we have a little bit of a shared responsibility now after UVA took it on the chin against NC State, but the backup quarterback, a kid by the last name Stone via Woodbury Forest in Dallas, Texas, he comes in and he really started throwing the football around and moving the offense. So are we going to consider the backup quarterback now with the first stringer, Armstrong, showing some signs of struggle early in his career? And how about the Hokies losing to North Carolina 56 to 21, and really what was a high-scoring affair? This game did not go Virginia Tech's way, 56-45, on that end. I'll tell you what, if you can update that PTI header for UNC Virginia Tech, Judah, the score on that one, 56-45. The Hokies 45 points on that PTI header. We'll analyze that game and talk about what's coming up for both UVA and the Hokies moving forward on the I Love CVille show. The first headline, if you can get it on screen, Judah's from Albemarle County. And folks, we have a crossroads that's right before us, and this crossroads is between parents of Albemarle County students and teachers of Albemarle County students. Here's the nitty-gritty. 65% of parents in a survey, in an Albemarle County survey, 65% of Albemarle County, 65, want their kids back in school. Okay? 60% of teachers said the division should continue all virtual classes. 93% of those teachers said virtual has been highly effective. So here's the nitty-gritty, worth recapping and repeating. 65% of parents in the Albemarle County school system, according to a recent survey by the school system, 65% of the parents said, let's get these kids back in the hallways, learning in person. Well, 6 out of 10 teachers surveyed said, no, we don't feel safe doing this. And I'm going to straight up tell you how Albemarle County and what Albemarle County does here is without question going to influence the city of Charlottesville. And what you're seeing is a number of students being pulled or yanked from the school systems. And when they're pulled or yanked from the school systems get less money from the Commonwealth from an enrollment standpoint. Funding is based on enrollment. The superintendent of Albemarle County Schools, Dr. Matt Haas, is like, look, we need to get the ball rolling and get these kids back in the classroom. So you got to follow this. We should follow this. We have parents that want the kids in there and teachers that say we don't feel safe doing this. They should continue learning at home and virtually. Okay? So follow what happens because this school system will influence Charlottesville. If the county goes back to having students learning, even a percentage of students learning in person, and right now it's preschool through 3rd grade that's being focused upon. If preschool through 3rd grade, even a percentage of those students go back to learning in person, that's going to influence the city of Charlottesville, its school board, and its school system. It just will. Okay? So this is something that we need to follow closely. Thursday night of this past week, late Thursday night, the school board voted in a tight 4-3 vote to move the division to stage 3 of its reopening plan. Time's going to tell what's going to happen here. But this will influence the city, and we'll follow it closely. One of the things that I think it's important to emphasize as we head to the next headline, Judah, if you can get that on screen, this is from the Lynchburg News at Advance. We must figure out a way, and this is, someone asked me the other day, I watched your show, you've mentioned that you want to run for office, and you'd like to get civically engaged. What are some of the tenets of your platform when you do run for office, which I will? What are you going to base your platform on? Well, one of the tenets of my platform undoubtedly will be ubiquitous, broadband, reliable, and trusted internet for folks across the Commonwealth, across the 5th District, across Albemarle County, Central Virginia, whatever it may be. How are we expected to close the wealth and social gap if a percentage of our next generation can learn quickly via computer, via phone, and an ISP when others cannot? That, in my mind, is synonymous with some kids and some families not having access to electricity or running water. We take for granted in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, in Central Virginia, we take for granted having an incredible provider like Ting, and show them how they can save $288 through Ting. Only, guys, you can get the best internet possible at ilovecville.ting.com. You can save $288 on the best internet out there. We take it for granted that we have access to a phenomenal ISP and a phenomenal provider like Ting. We take it for granted. Imagine students in rural aspects of Virginia. Heck, even there are students that go to Albemarle County schools. There are students that go to the city of Charlottesville schools. There are students that go to Nelson County schools, whatever the county in Central Virginia, that do not have access to trusted, relied upon internet. How are they expected to learn? How are their parents expected to get ahead professionally? Students from an educational standpoint, if they don't have trusted and relied upon internet. This is something we must prioritize. Please. I mean, I think, look, I said so many times on this show that I stand with teachers and I stand with frontline workers and I stand with anybody that is putting their life on the line and their health on the line by doing a profession that makes them more exposed to COVID. My profession's not like that. Judah's profession's not like that. Many of the folks that are watching this show do not have to go to a job where, because of their job, they are significantly more exposed to COVID. That's just a fact. Teachers do. Nurses, doctors, medical folks, they do. Folks in grocery, they do. I understand the predicament and I stand with teachers. But until all our students have an internet connection that they can count upon, you're going to create a social, educational, and wealth gap by emphasizing virtual learning like we're doing now. Some kids have the best. Other kids have nothing from a connection standpoint. That's going to create issues. Ubiquitous and relied upon internet across the Commonwealth must be something we prioritize. Next headline, if you could get it on screen: trampolines, laser tag, and go-karts. How do they apply to Charlottesville, Virginia? Well, Richmond has a West End Mall. And this West End Mall, the Regency Mall, it's a staple. It recently announced a alliance with Surge Adventure Park. And Surge Adventure Park is taking the former Macy's North building and Regency's Mall on the west end of Richmond. 42,000 square feet this trampoline park is taking. The trampoline park also has dodgeball, an arcade, and other activities. It's going to be the first Surge in the Richmond area. This business has Drew Brees, the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, as a partner. So I'm going to bring this up to you. We have anchor tenants at Fashion Square Mall, and we have Regal and Stonefield that their future is straight up in jeopardy. Can we expect a trampoline park, a go-kart park, a laser tag facility to take these massive square footage skeletons that used to be home to traditional retail and or movie theaters? It's a really good question. We're seeing it in Richmond. We're seeing it in Northern Virginia and other big cities. Those trends trickle down here. Remember laser tag? Remember go-karts? There used to be a go-kart track behind Lowe's on Route 29. Used to be a go-kart track and a batting cage back there. There used to be a laser tag facility in the old Dairy Market building. There used to be a dairy market. There used to be a laser tag there. Kind of where McGrady's and the Three Notch were and the Sharkies were and that Mexican grocery that was there in the Dairy Market building. There was laser tag there. If you look at the Charlottesville market, go-karts, laser tag, and trampoline. There is jump. Jump over there behind ACAC is a trampoline park. But go-karts, trampoline, and laser tag are two or three niches that are kind of overlooked right now. And parents are looking for stuff to do with their kids. So I'm going to throw it out there. You have the scuttlebutt coming from Wall Street of Simon Property, and you have the scuttlebutt with Amazon looking to do distribution centers at old brick and mortar retail like Sears and JCPenney. Also potentially grocery stores. Now you're seeing 60 miles down the road a former Macy's being converted to a trampoline park with arcades and other activities. I think this is something we should consider and think about, conversating about, because we have a lot of big storefront vacancy and more popping up. I mean, you drive down Route 29, and I did this past weekend, and you see a sign on 29 saying the JCPenney's for sale. Okay? So let's think about some other ideas. And speaking of department stores, Dillard's, put it on screen. Its stock popped more than 40% today. And why it popped more than 40% is a direct tie to Charlottesville. Warren Buffett, one of his lieutenants, a gentleman by the name of Ted Weschler. Weschler is an investment manager at Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company. Ted has a home here in Charlottesville. Ted, one of the co-owners of the CVille Weekly, okay? This guy spent north of $5 million for 2 meals with Warren Buffett for a charity function. Back-to-back years, he spends X amount of dollars. They total over $5 million, and this guy gets lunch with Warren Buffett. Back-to-back years. That lunch translates into a job with Buffett's company. Well, Ted Weschler, he pumps a lot of his money. He bought roughly 1.1 million shares of Dillard's, or close to 6% of outstanding shares. Because of that one purchase from Ted Weschler, Warren Buffett's lieutenant, a guy who's got ties to Charlottesville companies, CVille Weekly, he's one of the co-owners, has property and ownership in this Central Virginia region. He gets 1.1 million roughly shares of Dillard's, about 6% of the company, and the stock pops almost 45%. I mean, these guys are a lot smarter than we are. I don't see a strong future for Dillard's, but this guy knows stuff that I don't know. And he's investing this kind of money into a company like this. Must be seeing something down the horizon happening. Warren Buffett just put a ton of money into Barrick Gold, another publicly traded company. He got out of airlines. A lot of the picks he does come to fruition. We'll follow that closely on the I Love CVille show. I want to get, before we get to River Hawkins, Judah, I'd like to get the photo from the I Love CVille Instagram on screen. This is the pie chest. That's on screen. Look at the whiskey chocolate chip pie from the pie chest. This is an I Love CVille spotlight on the I Love CVille Instagram. Third largest Instagram in the community. Follow us, guys. The whiskey chocolate chip pie from the pie chest. Good night, that looks good. Right? I mean, Rachel and her team really create and make good, sweet, and savory stuff. I mean, really good, sweet, and savory stuff. Still to come on the show, a Chitter Chatter with Keith Smith. We'll talk about the real estate market, how the market's doing currently, how it did over the weekend, what to expect on his show Real Talk, which airs tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. We're about to welcome River Hawkins to the show, co-owner of the Bebedero. River Hawkins, who's going to open the Milkman Bar and Dairy Market, along with Mike Stewart and Wilson Ritchie. We'll talk UVA and NC State. The Wolfpack beat up on the Wahoos in Scott Stadium. We'll analyze that game and what could be a percolating quarterback controversy with Armstrong and Stone. UVA has Wake Forest on Saturday, 4 p.m. kickoff in Winston-Salem. The Hoos are a 2.5-point favorite on the road with that 4 p.m. kickoff. UNC beat up Virginia Tech. Judah, did you update that PTI? You did? Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Hokies got Boston College on Saturday. The Hokies are an 11-point favorite. And, of course, we'll talk I Love CVille Daily Digest. I'm excited for the Milkman Bar. I really am excited for this. River knows booze and good drinks. I'm reaching out to him now, Judah. A lot I want to cover with this guy. We have him on the line. River Hawkins, one of the fantastic guys in the business. Dude, he's looking sharp. So you're at, are you at the Milkman right now?
No, right now I'm at my house.
This is your house?
Yeah, this is my place. That's my
Can I see? What is that?
Well, I had a blank wall, and so I had to, I do art too. I don't know if you know that about me. I'm at the Bebedero. It's all my art up on the walls and stuff.
So behind you painted that, River?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Damn. How about this beautiful lady over your left shoulder?
Yeah, that's me too. Okay.
What's going on in that photo right there?
What photo? What are you talking about?
What's going on in this painting over here?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful young lady, I just paint a lot, and that's what I do in every free moment of my life,
River, you
So,
continue to amaze me. This guy, a master mixologist. This guy knows the best drinks out there. A restaurateur and a businessman. All right, so number 2, give us some. So much I want to cover with you. I want to talk Bebedero. I want to talk Milkman. I want to talk challenges you're facing. First, the new brand and dairy market. Introduce us to what's happening here.
Sure. So, yeah, we're really excited right now. We're opening up a new place called the Milkman's Bar. This is going to be the outfit where bartender's going to wear. And what we're doing there is we're just trying to kind of pay a homage to, or homage to old soda fountains, like old soda fountains that used to be in pharmacies and stuff. And we're just trying to have a little fun. We're looking for like some nostalgia and some childlike fun. That's about all we're doing, So, yeah, we're bringing back some really classic cocktails, some lost cocktails, and reinventing them for the modern age kind of thing. So, yeah, for example, right here I have a cream. So an egg cream used to be just, it doesn't even have egg or cream in it. It's just milk and soda water with flavoring, So it used to be really popular with chocolate and vanilla. But we're going to make it more adult and put some bourbon and some other ingredients in there. And it's absolutely delicious. So this is just an example of what we kind of want to bring back. It's just that old 50s, 60s style cocktails that have kind of been lost. But now we're going to do them special. We're going to reinvent them, But yeah, and we're really excited about it. Working with the dairy market over there. Those guys are great. And letting us do and be really creative. So yeah, we're really excited about it all.
I just got, River, a lot I want to throw to you. I just got a message from a good friend of the show, and we'll talk about this, guys, in a matter of moments. Evidently, Dury Nelly's just went on the market being for sale. And that's an incredible spot. Literally just got this message 30 seconds ago. All right, so I love what you do. And what you do is, this is what I've seen. You bring something that can be considered maybe nuanced. And the type of cocktails that you make are nuanced. But you do it in a fun, approachable, educational, and priced fairly fashion. That's the whole concept with the Bebedero. You have a brand at the Bebedero that can stack up with any in the country from a tequila standpoint. But when you go to the Bebedero, if you don't know a lot about tequila, like I like to get after it. I like to have a good time. I like to be around friends and doing it in a local place. When you go into your place, you don't feel like it's so highbrow that it's above you. You just want to have fun, which is the Bebedero vibe. Is that a similar concept with the Milkman's Bar?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, it's one of my driving goals with creating new projects. Like personally, you can get amazing cocktails all over the place. I mean, everywhere in America. And modern mixology and craft mixology is just elevating the craft to a whole new level. But many times, these places are very sterile. They're very pompous and they're very pretentious. And they might make the most perfect pre-prohibition Sazerac, but if the environment is cold and it feels like it's above you, then you never really feel comfortable being there. And so you might go visit and go, wow, this is beautiful, this is great, and they really know how to make a real cool old-fashioned, but it's not a place I'm going to go back to, I like dive bars, I like lounge bars. I like places where everybody feels welcome to come, and you don't have to be dressed up to go there, And I think that's a big problem with a lot of new bars when they open up is they set themselves up at the standard of like, we're better than everybody, and that vibe really comes across, and you just never want to go back to those places because they're not warm, they're not fun, they're not family oriented or friendly, and so that's always my goal. Whenever I create a bar, I want it to feel like everybody is welcome to come here no matter what, and we're all just here to have a good time. Nobody's better than anybody, And so, yeah, that's what I strive for, especially with the Bebedero. I always wanted that place to be very warm, and you'll notice the colors and the atmosphere is very warm. The art is fun and maybe a little tongue in cheek. And then the same thing with the Milkman is what we're trying for. Is we're just trying not to be another pretentious cocktail lounge. We want to be a fun place that everybody will feel fun going to, and have a good time. And we want to do some ridiculous stuff that people haven't seen before, And it's not just to entertain ourselves, but it's to entertain everybody. Like, I think that's the point of a bar. It's the great thing about bars.
Amen. And that's why I think you guys are successful. How difficult was it? How did the conversation go with you and Mike and Wilson about opening a new brand and a new bar during COVID? I mean, that had to be a discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? It actually wasn't that hard because I think Wilson and I and Mike all share the same kind of mentality when it comes to recessions and fear and opening bars. It's like people get rich during recessions, and it's because it's the people that aren't afraid to go forward with their dreams or their plans, the people that hoard and get conservative about it and get scared, they fail. But that's not the way to live life, and that's definitely not the way to open a business. Always open up a business proud and happy and willing to move forward, even during tough times. The tough times just give you an opportunity to really test your creativity. How can you work with a bad situation and make it great? And I've always found within my life personally that the worst things that ever happen to me are always the best things for me. They usually end up putting me in a better place. And I think that's what's going to happen here with the Milkman's Bar and the whole dairy market and everything. It's a bold statement. It's a bold test during this strange time. But I think at the end of it, we're going to come through with flying colors.
I agree. Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So that goes along with what River's saying. Dude, how about this? I'm a downtown mall guy. I know you're a downtown mall guy as well. I'm here in the Macklin. You're at the Bebedero. Dude, the dairy market and the Dairy Central, I really think is going to be like the freaking hot spot for a while. How about that topic to you? You got Star Hill, you got a second Take It Away, you got Angelique's. I mean, you got Tom doing, the sandwiches over there. You got Jay Pun doing some fantastic Thai food. I mean, you got Dino with some wood-fired pizza with some chicken and some sandwiches. I mean, what do you think about the dairy market being this epicenter of food and beverage?
I love it. I think it's great. I'm really excited about it. I hope it doesn't hurt downtown, obviously. I have my vested interest in downtown being successful as well. But yes, I think it's a very interesting opportunity. I think it's super fun. And I've talked to the owners of the other businesses. And yeah, we're really bringing a variety of experiences down to this one little area. But even with COVID, it's so open. It has enough space that nobody's all crammed together. So I think it's in a unique opportunity to be able to weather COVID and to create an experience for people. That might be outside of the downtown mall, but I think give you that same kind of vibe of being able to hit every different kind of experience you want to have in a night, and yeah, there's so much to offer. I mean, Star Hill's going to be there. We have another project that's going to be opening up after that. After the Milkman's Bar, we're working on the next project. They'll be opening up in February.
Whoa, what's that project? Can you tell me that?
Well, I was told to keep it on the down low, so I can't give away too much.
Okay, can I ask this? Is it going to be you, Mike, and Wilson?
Yes, yes. It's going to be all three of us and a talented chef. And yeah, it's going to be in the dairy market as well, but it's not opening up until February or March.
Cool.
But so we're launching the Milkman's Bar first, and then we're going to get on to that project, which I think I'm really excited about because it's something I think that Charlottesville kind of needs right now. High energy, lots of fun.
So is the concept you're launching, and you don't have to tell me too much, I'm just trying to connect the dots. Is the concept you're launching with the chef going to be the food piece of the Milkman's Bar?
It's going to, it's going to end up being the food that's provided to the Milkman's Bar. The Milkman's Bar and this concept will be totally different in style, but the food will be provided from this other venue. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll throw this to you here. So that has some elements. It's not the definition of it, but some elements of almost this ghost kitchen type concept that's popping up around here, where one kitchen can help create multiple concepts and brands. In fact, Hunter Smith is doing that at Passiflora, Commonwealth Sky Bar. He's got two different concepts going out of one restaurant footprint. Do we think that is the future of restaurants moving forward? What do you think of the ghost kitchen concept?
Well, I love the ghost kitchen concept. I just think that whether it's a new trend, I don't know. I think it depends on how, like ours is situational. Like we had the opportunity to open up two projects and we weren't going to pass on one of them. So we just took the opportunity to open up both of them. I think the same thing with Hunter over at Passiflora is he took over the rent in a building that has two bars. And two very different kind of styles, and so you have to cater to that. You have to create two different styles, and so I think a lot of times it's just situational. But I am seeing like pop-up bars open up all the time. I was just downstairs at Citizen Bowl right next to the last night, and that was a pop-up kitchen, and it was absolutely delicious. I had some wonderful food there and drink there. I don't know. I think it's just a few days, but it's popping up a lot. Yeah, these quick concepts. Who knows if it's a modern day trend? People tend to have less and less attention spans, shorter and shorter attention spans. So those things might be very popular. Absolutely. Ours was just kind of situational.
How's the Bebedero doing? I mean, you got one of the best restaurants out there. You're one of the fortunate ones, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do have patio space.
Yes.
So you have patio space. We were talking with Elena Mangione last week, who does not have patio space at Mangioni's, and she talked about the challenges she's facing now. How about the Bebedero? How are you guys doing?
Yes, well, definitely. I mean, COVID is hurting everybody. There's nobody not affected by it. So, we have been struggling only in the sense that, when we closed down for COVID, we had to go to takeout and delivery. That was fine. It kept us going very meekly, but it kept us going. Then we could reopen patio space, and we reopened patio space, and that chugged along a little bit better. Then we got then we got cocktails to go, which helped out a lot. That was immense. And then we were finally allowed to allow people back into the restaurant. And now we're at a stage where everybody has to be 6 feet apart from each other. And that's really hard to monitor, and it's really difficult to monitor, especially when you have people that come in and they're specifically hoping you fail in the sense that, they're checking to see if it's 6 feet from their neighbor, and then they're taking pictures and then complaining about you online, So it's difficult because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't kind of thing, If we don't cram as many people as we can get in there, our business will go under. If we don't separate people well enough, we'll be shunned on Facebook. So it's a really fine line we're walking right now, and the Bebedero is surviving really well considering. But of course, I mean, it's still hard work, and we're still in the middle of it, and we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel just yet. It seems like we are, but for all we know, we could be shut down again tomorrow. So it's definitely a scary time for restaurants and the whole industry, I believe.
Do you feel like you're getting? What did you make of everything that happened last week from the city and local government? Because I'm sure you have a take. It's settled a little bit. I think you guys made an impact. Wilson and Peter came on this show. Daniel and Elena came on this program, and then immediately council started turning course. I mean, how do you feel? Mm-hmm. How do you feel the support as you're getting?
I think it's funny. Yes, you're going to hear things like, "Oh, we need to shut down" and everything. But sadly, I mean, the reality is that people are eventually going to be debating in their mind whether it's worth it. In the sense that if the government can't provide the help we need, and we're not allowed to stay open, then you're going to see a lot of businesses failing dramatically, and that's going to be a terrible effect on the whole economy and just like I think the people in a whole, people's emotional state. So I think what we're going to see is that people are eventually just going to stop caring about COVID. They're going to, even if they can intellectualize the risk and the fear, they're eventually just going to go, well, at some point it becomes standard of living, and what standard are we willing to go below, just to save ourselves. And it's sad to say, but I think a lot of people are just going to be like, I would just rather go out, I would rather go out and get a drink. I'm not worried about risking it anymore, and that sounds like a doomsday kind of thing, but it's really not. It's just that eventually people won't want to live like that anymore, and they'll be willing to take risks in their lives, which, I can't say whether that's good or bad. That's just how I think people are going to react. And I don't know how to say whether that's good for me or not. I run the same risk of getting COVID
I was going to say,
anybody.
right, yeah.
And I have to be there all the time at the restaurant, and I have to interact with people, and I worry about masks being enough, and I worry about distancing being enough, and ultimately you just got to put yourself out there. And I don't really have the answer for that. I don't want to say I hope everybody can come out and go to my restaurant, cram and pack the place, because I know the risk. But I do understand that I think eventually people are just going to be willing to risk it because life has to go on no matter what.
I think he's 100% right. I think that's what is going to happen. This is an interesting question coming from multiple people here on the feed. How many do you think, of the percentage that are alive now, how many survived the winter restaurant-wise?
Yeah, that's a whole other issue. The winters are already hard. They were hard on restaurants before COVID, and they're going to be really hard on COVID on winter now. After COVID. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of worried, to be honest with you, just because that means wintertime always meant a little bit of layoffs, or at least cutting back on people's hours naturally. And now without students in school, without people coming into Charlottesville, regularly, and for school and all that, we're really going to be, we're already cutting out half of the population there, and then now with COVID, people afraid to even go out, there's another third of the population right there. So yeah, I'm a little concerned. I try to be a really happy guy and keep my spirits up, but winters are tough here no matter what. And there's seasons, especially in Charlottesville, there's very distinct seasons of when business picks up and falls. So I'm eager to see what happens. I'm confident we'll be able to get through it just fine, but it is scary, yeah. This is unprecedented times.
He is one of the co-owners of the Milkman's Bar. We got multiple people commenting that they grew up on egg creams and that they're going to be there from day one of your opening in Dairy Market. He also gave us a little bit of a teaser in that he, along with Mike Stewart and Wilson Ritchie, are opening up another concept early spring next year in Dairy Market. He also is the co-owner of the Bebedero, which is absolutely bona fide and banging. You very soon, River, why don't we close on this? You very soon are going to be, co-owner of 3 units of 3 different brands? I mean, what's that mean to you? Has that set in? I mean, the bouncer from the West Coast has come to Charlottesville and he's left the strip club scene to be the co-owner of 3 different restaurants in Charlottesville. I mean, that's legit.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Before I owned a restaurant, I would have said it was a real big deal. Now that I have owned restaurants, I know how hard it is, and I know that being the owner of a restaurant looks a whole lot better on paper than it is in real life. It usually just means more work and less pay. But that's okay, because these are steps to, greater dreams. But and I'm living the dream I've always had, for 23 years since I've been started tending bar. So I absolutely love this idea that I'll own more projects, but ultimately my goal is to keep moving on and starting and developing new projects, because that's really the best part. That's the fun part. I don't really get a kick out of just owning them. I like creating the cocktail programs. I like doing the art. I like doing the really fun creative stuff. So for me, it's like, what's next? It's like, I love this and I can't wait to get it out, and I can't wait for people to enjoy it. And then once that's out, I'm going to want to move on to the next thing and see what other fun cocktail programs can I design. I think that's what's great about the Milkman's project and this other new project, is that it gives me an opportunity to be creative in a totally different way, not necessarily focused centrally on mezcal and tequila, which of course I love, but this gives me an opportunity to play with different spirits and do different experiences and create a different ambiance and a different style of a bar. And so that's what I'm really excited about. Like I said,
you're an awesome interview, dude. You're A+ people. Can we see any other cool art you have in this room, or is that asking too much?
God, I don't know. My house is a mess. If you want to see some cool art, all right.
This guy is the artist behind all this stuff. What is that right there?
So that's just I threw that together. That's a doodle, basically. Let me see. Here's a picture of my ex-wife. You want to see that? That's a classic. Love that style.
River, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why is your ex-wife pointing a gun at you?
I don't know. She's like a muse. She's like no, actually, that was a piece I did a long time ago, and I took a picture of her a long time ago holding a gun to me, and I just thought it should always be a picture somehow. And that was from an art show I did called Violence and Grace. And that has been a common theme with my art, is I often like to do surrealism and kind of a macabre imagery, but I really like, and it's not macabre to me. Like I said, violence and grace. I like the beauty in the stuff everybody says should be ugly. That's my way of thinking. I like to find the beauty in the ugly, and the grace in the violence. So that's really what that piece is about.
I'm going to tell you what, guys. If you want to spend an evening having some beverages and chilling with a super cool guy, this is the guy who you want as your wingman. I mean, this guy is a cool guy. River,
hey, you know what, Jerry? Do we have a little bit of time?
Sure.
Or
yeah.
All right. So, man, I told you that I wasn't going to tell you any more bar stories because I caught flack from it last time. Okay. And interestingly enough, I caught flack from my dad. Okay. He said my story was inappropriate on your show. And this is funny because my dad is the guy that taught me how to be inappropriate to people. He is one of the most inappropriate guys I ever met, but he found that story to be inappropriate. And I told you I wouldn't tell you any stories from my experience because I didn't want to offend people. But I recently started, in the past few months, I started a new website called theincidentlog.com. Okay? Yeah, I got a lot of projects and I do a lot of things. My ex-wife says I'm a jackass of all trades. But I got this new website started, theincidentlog.com. And what it is a collection of my old stories, but also it's a collection of log entries from bar logs. Okay, so on the West Coast, you have an incident log where you have to write down everything bad that happened that day, whether it be you kicked somebody out or cut somebody off, or there was a fight, or you had to call the police, or all that. And so these log entries, and I filled up books and books and books in the 20 years I was tending bar over there. And these log entries are just like a collection of the most ridiculous stories of drunken life in the world. But I wanted to give you a few of them.
Please.
If you want to hear some.
Yes.
Okay. So these are real incident logs, verbatim, from bars that I have worked at before. Okay? Here's a log entry from a strip club I used to work at, and I know this dancer. Log entry. Jody called in and can't come in because she is too distraught over the way police treat people. She may never dance again. Log entry. Refused service to VIP, that's very intoxicated person. 25-ish, single white male at approximately 7:30 p.m. He was upset because he had, quote, fallen down about 5 times, unquote, in his effort to get here, only to be denied service, then left. Here's another one. This one gets a little blue. Log entry. Asked white female, approximately 26, to leave because she was being inappropriate to several customers and staff. Example, do you want to fuck me in the ass?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these are the entries. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to give you, and this is one of my absolute favorites. This is a bar I used to work at. Log entry. Male, early 30s, was outside urinating into the patio over the wall.
Whoa.
I started to run over there to confront him and pulled my leg/groin and almost fell down. The patron ran away. Work at. The wall is like 3 feet high and about like 1.5 feet wide, and he's standing outside peeing over into the patio. These are the kind of things that bartenders have to deal with, and I don't think people understand, and that's why I started this website. It's like, I don't think people understand how truly bizarre the world is, especially when you work at an epicenter of bizarreness like a bar. So if you get a chance, check out my website, theincidentlog.com.
Theincidentlog.com. It sounds like the early makings of a movie script.
I think so too. Or at least a very good book.
Very good book. River, you're good people. Thank you for the time. I'm going to be there. We will be there as soon as the Milkman's Bar opens. You are A-plus people. Anything you guys need with the Bebedero or any of your units or brands, please, I'm in. I'll be there, drop of a hat.
Great. Thank you very much, Jay. We really appreciate your help. We appreciate all the support you've been giving all the local restaurants around here. We know, especially now, it's very important. So thank you so much.
Truly our pleasure. You have a good one, my friend.
Yeah, take care. Have a good day.
Take care. Theincidentlog.com. We will check that out. And I am now getting multiple messages after mentioning this on the show about 15 minutes ago. I now have multiple messages that Dury Nelly's is for sale. Can anybody confirm this? I have multiple viewers that have watched this program that have said Dury Nelly's is for sale. Dury Nelly's is for sale. Multiple people are confirming with me. In fact, I now have a fourth message. This is from someone who lives in Fry Springs that says Dury Nelly's is for sale. We'll go to Keith Smith here in a matter of moments. Dude, I'm gonna straight up say this. That section, that corridor where Dury Nelly's is at, that is a gold mine waiting to happen. A gold mine waiting to happen. Now, you're going to have to put some money into revitalizing and rehabbing that area. I mean, let's cut to the chase. Dury Nelly's, no money's been put into Dury Nelly's in years, if not decades. But that's what makes the place dope. That's what allows it to have charm. It's a great dive bar, great music scene, great sandwiches. How many bars can you think of in the city of Charlottesville that do not have windows? Can you think of a single bar in the city of Charlottesville that does not have a window? Seriously, St. Martin's is closed, so St. Martin's has windows. Livery Staple has windows. Can you think of a single bar in the city of Charlottesville that does not have windows? So can someone else confirm? We're hearing that Stu Rifkin has the listing. Dury Nelly's for sale. Stu, someone reach out to Stu or someone else, can they confirm? Whoever or whatever goes into that space, it will boom. A brewery, a tap room, something with TVs, sports bar, it will crush it there. I'm going to cover that closely on the show, and we'll reach out to some folks we know in commercial to get you guys some more information. I'm reaching out to Keith Smith now, Judah Wickhauer. In fact, I have Keith on the line. Keith, you are live on the I Love CVille Show. We have 6 states now watching the program. Good afternoon. How are you, Keith?
Good afternoon, my friend. I was quickly trying to tap into my software program to find out the details on Dury Nelly's, but you called me in a little too fast. But I'm trying to confirm that for you.
I am reaching out during the interview to the broker that I'm hearing has the listing. In fact, I'm doing that now. I will let everybody knows the response here in a matter of moments. How are you? What is good with you?
Man, as I always said, if life was any better, it'd be illegal. But as you were talking, my wheels were turning. Maybe me and you ought to think about a little spot over there. What do you think?
Oh, you want to do a bar?
We'll get River. He just sits there and tells us stories, and we'll be doing fine. I normally say, hey, it's a tough act to follow. That was a tough act and a bit of a different act to follow.
From the first time, that's for sure.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So I had an opportunity on Friday to get an actual preview of Dairy Market. Jody Mills walked me around and actually saw his space where he's going to go in. So it's going to be super cool. I'm on board. My mouth was watering on egg creams because I grew up on them, and put a little bit of bourbon in it. It's even better.
Absolutely. That place is going to be fantastic. Dairy Market and Dairy Central, the Milkman's Bar, and River just confirmed that he's going to open, along with Wilson Ritchie and Mike Stewart, in February, another food-based concept in Dairy Market. That's very exciting. That place is turning into a hotspot. My friend, the real estate market, how is that doing, Keith?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Actually, I took a quick look at week over week. We've been talking about this for a while, and we're going to have some slides tomorrow, but just to talk a little bit about it. We've been talking a little bit about how we think due to the election, the market may take a bit of I don't want to say a pause, but kind of just dip it just a little bit. And I was noticing week over week, our pendings last week were 89, and the week before was 126. So you're starting to see a little bit of a stabilization of the market, but the inventory is just not there. Literally, it was flat week over week with new inventory coming on. So, I think this is more of we just desperately need inventory. As we talk all the time on the show, that now's the time to sell, now's the time to buy. Unusually doing 3 decades of this. Usually it sides with one market or it's a seller's market. Right now it's kind of both, which is very unusual. So we're looking pretty good. We're going to talk a little bit tomorrow about Prada Homes. I was able to get out there and take a look at it, and eventually, hopefully, we're going to get to why you really need a real estate agent or a realtor in a new home construction purchase. So we're excited about it. I always enjoy our time together, and I was feverishly taking notes from River. That whole fear thing. Was spot on. We used to say in the Marine Corps, fear is a reaction, courage is a decision, right? So don't let this stuff. You should be thoughtful of it. You should be conscious of it, but don't let it rule your life.
Well said. Well said. Again, Warren Buffett said, be fearful when folks are greedy and be greedy when folks are fearful. That's his investing strategy. The Dury Nelly's topic is blowing up. I just got confirmation from somebody on Stribling Avenue. Jerry, I own a home on Stribling Avenue. We also saw that it is for sale. This is something that we were talking about over the weekend. What do you think can go in that space? Carol Thorpe just posted, post-COVID, whatever goes into Dury Nelly's, if it's going to have patrons, is probably going to need windows. What do you guys think? I mean, Keith, what do you think of that JPA corridor right there?
Well, it's rock and roll, man. It's absolutely. I mean, at some point, what we currently are doing right now, this COVID-19 will end at some point, right? And everything is going to get a little bit back to normal. But it's interesting. It is the only bar that I'm aware of that doesn't have windows in it. the thing is, I got to do some homework before tomorrow's show for you on this. But the thing is the business being sold or the real estate being sold? So that's something we need to take a look at on that end of it. But it may be both also. It may be the business and it may be the real estate. But yeah, I mean, my God, you've got Guadalajara right next door. You've got
Atlas Coffee.
Wayside.
Yeah.
Throw a little bit of windows in there, put a little bit of outside, turn it into the 21st century. I think it'd be a home run.
It would crush it.
I'm in.
It would crush it. It would crush it. All right, my friend, the Parade of Homes we're going to talk about tomorrow. Did it have as good of a weekend as the first weekend?
No, but it typically doesn't. But it was close. The weather surely didn't help out so much. But as it's all virtual and in person. So the reality of it is it's going to probably take a little bit of time to get some numbers. You know that world better than anybody to go ahead and get the what did you teach me the other day? Unique.
Absolutely unique visitors.
There you go. Absolutely. Didn't teach me so well because I didn't remember it. But the absolute, it must have been the student. Clearly, it was the student.
I just got a text message from a commercial broker. And I'm literally responding here while doing the interview with Keith. And it's not Stu Rifkin. That's not who the text was from. But another commercial broker in town. It's the business, not the actual building. So the business itself for sale.
Yeah, that's a little bit different, right? So that you're buying a business, you're not buying an actual piece of real estate. So it's you've got to take a look into that. So I'll dig into that. But the bottom line, so basically, it's just changing management. It'll depend a lot with the lease relationship on how many windows you can put in or not. And so forth and so on. But I'll dig into that a little bit for you guys for tomorrow.
Fantastic. Justin Butler's watching. He says a comedy club would be fantastic right there. It's a no-brainer with no windows. I mean, with that location, with parking, and with the fact that's an underserved area of Charlottesville, I think it would crush it. My friend, anywhere else you want to cover? What are we missing here that's on that big, beautiful brain of yours?
Oh God, don't go there. I do want to shout out a little bit because we're going to talk about it on the show tomorrow. So behind my left shoulder, my daughter is in from Seattle, and she's teaching a bunch of fifth graders in Seattle remotely right now. She's a school teacher. But we'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow about the market changing, and we'll just throw it out as a tease. So they are actually moving from a one-bedroom studio in downtown Seattle to a little further out to a two-bedroom. And it's not because they want more room, it's because they need a Zoom room. She needs a place to actually work. So it's pretty interesting, the dynamics of what's going on there. And particularly, we talk about sale, people moving for more property, people moving all these different things. But actually from the rental perspective, for two young folks, they're both young professionals, that they need that extra room to do these Zoom meetings that they're doing. So I found that to be interesting, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow.
Fantastic. Good Lord, this is a topic that's going to be front and center. I now have 3 other messages from folks that live in the area confirming that it is now for sale. I'm looking to get actual confirmation from the broker himself. More to follow on the show. Keith, I'm looking forward till tomorrow.
Oh man, I always enjoy our time together, and thank you for everybody watching and listening to what we have to say. But we're excited about tomorrow. One of the things that I put in the link is Firefly. So we talked about broadband, and you constantly hit these topics head on. And to my opinion, it is a requirement. Broadband, and Firefly is put on by the Central Virginia Electrical Co-op, and what they're doing is they're putting broadband in their existing right-of-ways. So this is moving into Flavanna, Nelson, some of the areas that are more remote or more rural, and they're actually getting some high-speed internet. So we'll talk about that a little bit maybe tomorrow on the show.
I'm looking forward to seeing you. The costumes are ready to go.
As always. I got it. It's in my truck, ready to show it to you, man.
My friend.
Ready to go.
My friend, you have a good one.
Good. Go knock him dead, brother. Thank you.
All right, Keith Smith, guys. Make sure you watch Real Talk tomorrow at 10:15 on the I Love CVille Network. Real Talk, 10:15 a.m. on the I Love CVille Network. We'll get to the bottom of some of this stuff here on the show. I got more messages coming in left and right in regards to this. That right there would be... Now, you're going to have to deal with the fact that it's COVID, and you're not sure when people are going to come back to eating inside again. But that spot has parking. That spot is in walking distance of hundreds of homes. That spot is in walking distance of UVA. That spot during game day has fantastic foot traffic during game day. Football, basketball, baseball, whatever it may be. I always thought, and I love Dury Nelly's. I love Dury Nelly's. I love mountain biking at O Hill and having some cold beers at Dury Nelly's. I love going to Dury Nelly's before and after a football game and having some cold beers. I love, maybe I'm waiting for Anna's Pizza and I'm having a couple cold beers at Dury Nelly. I love that spot. It has phenomenal music. It's the only bar in Charlottesville. Hell, it's the only bar in Charlottesville and Albemarle County that doesn't have any windows. Can you think of another one? St. Martin's is closed. That's off the list. Fantastic music. How many bars can you think of that have wood-burning fireplaces in Charlottesville? How many bars have wood-burning fireplaces in the city of Charlottesville? Dury Nelly's is one of them. South Street has wood-burning fireplaces. South Street has the front and back wood-burning fireplace. Not many bars now left because of the hazard of actual fire where people are boozing next to fires. Not a lot of wood-burning fireplaces left in Charlottesville. Dury Nelly's is a snapshot or a time capsule of yesteryear Charlottesville that I absolutely love. But I've always thought that corridor, that area, is underachieving and being underutilized. Okay? Bishop has got that barbershop he owns. And Bishop tried to do a coffee and ice cream shop next to his barbershop. That didn't work. Wayside kills it. Wayside stacks paper, prints money. The convenience store serves a purpose. Dury Nelly's serves a purpose. But that parking in that entire little block on the corner, that easily could be a tap room, a brewery, a grab-and-go restaurant. And it would crush it. It would crush it. Okay? Something where it's like a little bit more approachable Fry Springs. Time will tell. I'll dig into that and cover it on tomorrow's program. I want to get some football out of the notebook before we get out of here. UVA, NC State. Wahoos didn't come to play. I think that's safe to say. I still think this football team has tremendous promise. They came into the game favored pretty heftily, and they lost 38-21. Armstrong, the starting quarterback, I like this kid. I think he's a tank. I think he can run between the tackles. I think he can do some things outside the pocket when he's throwing the football on the run. Armstrong standing in the pocket and trying to break down defenses with his arm, that's a conversation for another day. Okay, you saw Stone come into the ball game, and Lindell Stone, the kid from Woodbury Forest. First thing that struck me from Lindell Stone's standpoint, and I don't know if you saw this as well, the guy is 6 foot and 240 pounds. So Lindell Stone likes to get after it, likes to have a couple cold beverages, whatever it may be. But the kid has got an arm. He gets rid of the football quickly, throws the football, gets his playmakers involved very quickly, a couple of drop steps in the pocket, and gets rid of the pigskin. Okay? I think we have a situation here, now that we're, 3 games into the season, where Bronco knows his football team better than any of us, he's got to consider maybe Lindell Stone for some action under center. The offense clearly moved better when Stone was under center throwing the football around the field. University of Virginia is a 2.5-point favorite on the road this Saturday in Winston-Salem against the Demon Deacons. That game's set to kick off at 4 o'clock on the ACC network. We'll talk more about that contest tomorrow. Whether we do have a legitimate Lindell Stone, Brendan Armstrong two-headed quarterback situation in Charlottesville. Now, Virginia Tech, they got clobbered. The Hokies lost to UNC. It was a high-scoring affair, a battle of two top 25 teams. UNC 56, Hokies 45. Virginia Tech still plagued by a number of players with COVID that are just not suiting up. North Carolina's quarterback, Howell, is the real deal. We're talking about an NFL caliber quarterback and Howell. This guy, 18 of 23 with 3 touchdowns and just a very efficient outing for Sam Howell. The Hokies, they're back in action against Boston College, 8 o'clock on ACC Network. The Hokies, an 11-point favorite. Man, the Dury Nelly's topic is blowing up the DMs and the feed right now. We'll get to some of the comments here on the comment section, and then we'll remind you to check out the I Love CVille Daily Digest. Judah, let's give some love to Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Dr. Wagner changing people's lives through sports medicine, chiropractic care, and integrative therapy. James Watson has this comment. Dury Nelly's is 1,000 more attractive if it's a full building purchase. If it's just a restaurant ownership takeover, then less attractive. I agree the area is way underutilized and underserved by restaurants and retail. I agree with him that if you could buy that building, it would be a way more attractive purchase. I'm communicating with a commercial broker now, and he says the owner of the property is a keeper of property, a holder of property, and not a seller of property. So it looks like it's Gary, and correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Patty Zeller. Can you help me here, Patty Zeller? Gary and Toby were owners of this fabulous business. Toby, rest in power, right? No longer with us. Am I right with that, Patty Zeller? Help me with that. Gary, oftentimes at the bar, mustached, having a cold beverage, having a conversation with us over a happy hour over cold beers. If you could let me know on that, Patty Z. Multiple people saying they have memories at Dury Nelly's from seeing the Gladstones, from watching a favorite musician, from having a cold beer before a football game, whatever it may be. This is something that I think is going to, I think it's going to gain some traction quickly. I really do. I think someone's going to scoop this up very quickly. I'm already hearing, I'll confirm this before I say this, I'm already hearing that a prolific restaurateur in Charlottesville is looking to purchase the property to open up a new bar and restaurant. So maybe we'll see if we can relay some of that information to you on tomorrow's program. Judah, let's give some love to Ting Fiber Internet. ilovecville.ting.com. ilovecville.ting.com for a savings of $288 on the best internet possible. And that's Ting. Wow, this is something. This is really something. I Love CVille Daily Digest is at 5 o'clock today. This entire show, 5 minutes or less, 5 days a week at 5 o'clock, the I Love CVille Daily Digest. Make sure you tune into that where we'll talk about every single topic possible. And I should have an update for you on this by 5 o'clock today. Time will tell. Matt Yancey, if you're watching, multiple people are confirming that the business is now for sale. The business is now for sale. Thank you, Matt Yancey, for tuning into the broadcast. We'll get more information, see if we can pass that to you at the I Love CVille Daily Digest or on the show tomorrow, because clearly it's a hot topic on today's broadcast, and clearly it's going to make news, TV, radio, and print. Judah, that's it for us today. Thank you, my friend. Tomorrow, I believe Bo Stockton is going to join us from Michael's Bistro, and Bo Stockton from Little John's. Time will tell if we can get that confirmed on the I Love CVille show. Thank you for joining us. You guys have a good afternoon. We love connecting with you on this platform. Tell your friends about the show. The show is archived on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, and of course on ilovecville.com. We reach more people every year than any platform, any TV station, radio station, newspaper outlet. And it's clearly backed by numbers. It's pretty impactful what we're doing here. And we do it because we bring approachable content to you on smartphones and across social, and we do it in a way where you can participate in the discussion. You guys have a good afternoon. Take care. Dude, Dury Nelly's selling would be something, right? Man, more messages coming in here about this, Judah. I mean, I really love the Lady Godiva sandwich. The Lady Godiva is, I get the Lady Godiva on a pita, and it's banging. Do you have a favorite sandwich over there?
Where?
At Nelly's?
I don't think I've ever been there.